Okay students, now discuss about the lymphatic system. Okay, two types of the fluids present in the body of human beings. One is the lymph and the one is the blood. Now study about the lymphatic system. Okay, lymphatic system is with lymph capillaries. Lymph capillaries open into lymph vessels. Lymph vessels open into lymph ducts. Okay, these are the having lumens. These are the having cavities. In its lumen, these are flows the lymph. Lymph ducts having the lymph finally drains or empties the lymph into the venous system. Into the venous system. At the junction of the internal jugular vein and subclavian vein. Okay, lymph ducts open to the thoracic duct. This is the largest lymphatic duct, also called left thoracic duct, left lymphatic duct, also called chyliferous duct. This is the duct empties the lymph is the fluid into the venous system at the junction of left internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. Okay students, in this lymph vessels, lymph ducts having walls in its inner surface. Okay students, now what about the formation of the lymph? Okay, in this is the blood vessel called artery. At the tissue region in the body, at the tissue region in the organ, this is the artery divides into blood capillaries. Divides into blood capillaries called arterioles. The blood flows through the lumen of the arterioles, having high blood pressure. By the amount of the blood pressure, the substances present in the blood entered into the extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid means these are the cells in the tissues, the space present between the cells having the fluid, that is called extracellular fluid, ECF. That means the fluid present outside the cells. The substances present in the blood entered into the ECF. Mainly these are nutrients and the salts, electrolytes and the oxygen. Okay, and now this is causing the colloidal osmotic pressure of the plasma of the blood present in the venules. These are the venules. When the amount of the substances enters into the ECF from the blood of the arteriole, this is causes increasing the colloidal osmotic pressure of the plasma of the blood of venules. Okay, and it is causes the absorption of the 85% of the extracellular fluid into the blood of the venules. Okay, amount of the ECF is there in the tissue region. From this, 85% is absorbed into the blood of the venules, and remaining 15% of the ECF that enters into the separate type of the capillaries. These are called lymph capillaries. 15% of the ECF enters into the lymph capillaries, that is called lymph. Once the ECF enters into the lumen of the lymph capillaries, that is termed with the lymph. This is transfers through lymph capillaries, lymph vessels, lymph ducts, and finally drain into the venous system. at the junction of internal jugular vein and subclavian vein. Okay students, this is about the formation of the lymph. Okay, in this the lymph is collected from the blood and finally empties into the drains into the blood. Lymph is collected from the blood and finally entered into the drain into the blood. Lymph is separates from the blood and finally added with the blood. After the transports via the lymph capillaries, lymph vessels, lymph ducts. Okay students, now what about the transport system of the lymph? Okay, right side of the lymph collected from the lymph capillaries. Right side of the lymph collected from the lymph capillaries. For example, arm, right side of the arm, right arm, and face region, neck region, head region. Lymph collected from the lymph capillaries and finally collected into the right side of the thoracic duct and empties the lymph into the venous system via the right internal jugular vein, right subclavian vein, and left side of the lymph is collected from the lymph capillaries and empties into the collected into the left lymphatic duct, left thoracic duct, and empties the lymph into the venous system via the junction of the left internal jugular vein, left subclavian vein. Okay students, next what about the lymphatic organs? Lymphatic organs are spleen, thymus, tonsils, mucosa associated lymphatic tissue, malt, appendix. Spleen, what about the spleen? Spleen is the largest lymphatic organ. It is located at the left part of the abdomen and left to the stomach. This is reservoir of the lymphocytes and the red blood cells. Okay students, this is the spleen is act as a hemopoietic organ. Hemopoietic organ means produces red blood cells up to the 5th month of the gestation period. Gestation period means the period of the pregnancy. Next, thymus. Thymus is the one of the lymphoid organ. This is locates behind the sternum. Sternum is the middle bone. Of the thoracic region. This is the thymus. Thymus helps in the differentiation of the T lymphocytes, which helps in the destruction of the microorganisms. Next, tonsils. Tonsils are lymphoid structures, lymph nodes, and locates at the back side of the throat. And mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, some amount of the parts in the body like skin and the part of the respiratory system and parts of the alimentary canal or the food tube, gastrointestinal tract, having the lymphoid tissue in the form of the mucosa membrane, that is called MALT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Next, appendix. Appendix is the small sac-like structure. It is also called vermiform appendix. It is the part of the colon. Okay students. Next, another one, composition of the lymph. Which substances present in the lymph? What are the substances present in the lymph? Lymph is with proteins and fatty acids, glycerol, water molecules, plasma proteins, electrolytes, white blood cells mostly with the lymphocytes. Okay, and antibodies, these are protein molecules, and enzymes and the hormones. Lymph is with the absence of the red blood cells. Okay, students. Now, what about the function of the lymph? Lymph is transports the lymphocytes into the blood to destroy the microorganisms. Okay, and lymph also helps in transport of the transport of the fats in the form of the fatty acids and the glycerol via the lacteals of the small intestine. Okay, lymph is helps in destruction of the different microorganisms. Okay, students, this is an account about the lymphatic system. Okay, students, now going to discuss about clotting of blood. When the blood vessel goes to breakage of the blood vessel, and blood vessel becomes injured, and it initiates hemostasis mechanism. Hemostasis means stops the bleeding. A process to stop the bleeding is called hemostasis. In this hemostasis mechanism, 3 steps are in it. First one is vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction means when the blood vessel is injured, blood vessel goes to the breakage, the smooth muscles present in the wall of the blood vessel goes to the contraction. Okay, sometimes this one is the contraction causes the blood vessel, lumen of the blood vessel becomes into narrow. Okay, sometimes it is so strong and flowing of the blood vessel is completely stops. Okay, next second one is platelet plug formation. What about the platelet plug formation? The platelets are combined with the collagen proteins. Much amount of the collagen proteins present in the connective tissue. This is the most abundant protein in the body of animal. Collagen proteins which is present in the connective tissue and also present in the endothelium of the wall of blood vessel. Okay, and platelets present in the blood. Platelets combines with the collagen protein and causes releasing of some amount of secretions. Collagen proteins and platelets together with the secretions and forms the platelet plug. Next, and the third one is production of web of fibrin protein. Production of web of fibrin protein. An activate substance of the injured wall. Injured wall consists some amount of the activated substances, and the platelets present in the blood and blood proteins, and these are combined with the injured blood vessel, wall of the injured blood vessel, and initiate the formation of the clot. Okay. Clot. What is the clot? Clot means it is the web of fibrin fiber to trap the blood cells. Okay, in it. That is called clot. Next, another one, mechanism of the blood clotting. Mechanism of blood clotting. It is important. In it consists of 3 steps. It consists 3 steps. In this. First one is, step 1 is formation of prothrombin by 2 ways. It is formed by 2 ways. Prothrombin activator is formed by first step. It is formed by intrinsic way. Intrinsic means it is naturally occurs. Okay, blood exposed to the collagen proteins. Collagen proteins present in the endothelium of the blood vessel, injured blood vessel. Blood is exposed to the collagen protein. It activates the 12th blood clotting factor. It is also called H-Mans factor present in the blood, and activates another factor. It leads to activation of the another factor, and finally produces prothrombin. Finally, prothrombin is produces. Okay, students, now what about the extrinsic way? Extrinsic means coming from outside. Extrinsic means coming from the outside. Extravascular tissue. Extravascular tissue. Extravascular tissue means the tissue outside of the blood vessel and contacts with the blood. Contacts with the blood. Okay, students. Extravascular tissue contact with the blood and it activates the release of the thromboplastin. Prothrombin is the second blood clotting factor. Thromboplastin is the third blood clotting factor. It activates the release of the thromboplastin and in the blood and it activates the another blood clotting factor, that is seventh blood clotting factor. After the so many reactions, many chemical reactions occurs in the blood at the region of the injured blood vessel, breakage of the blood vessel, and finally forms the prothrombin. Next, now goes to the second step. In this, prothrombin is converted into thrombin. Which one is formed after the first step? That one is a prothrombin. This is the prothrombin is converted into thrombin in the second step. Sufficient amount of the calcium ions present in the blood. These are the calcium ions act as blood clotting factor 4. Okay, students. By the calcium ions, prothrombin is converted into thrombin. Next, step 3 now goes to step 3. What about the step 3? By the thrombin, fibrinogen is converted into fibrin monomers. Okay, students, thrombin stimulates soluble fibrinogen into soluble fibrin monomers. These are the fibrin monomers are held together with the weak hydrogen bonds. Okay, students, and at that time platelets present in the blood produces fibrin stabilizing factor, activates fibrin stabilizing factor. That one is the 13th blood clotting factor. This is the fibrin stabilizing factor. The weak hydrogen bonds are converts into strong covalent bonds. Okay, by the help of the fibrin stabilizing factor. Okay, and this one is the fibrin stabilizing factor also converts into insoluble fibrin monomers, insoluble fibrin fibers. These are the insoluble fibrin fibers arranged in the form of the network-like structure which attaches to the edges of the injured blood vessels and initiates the formation of the clot. Okay, already you know what is the meaning of the clot. It is the web of the fibrin fibers which the blood cells are traps in it. Okay, students, after the clot is formed, some amount of the fluid comes to outside. It is called serum. Serum is with the blood proteins, and with the absence of the fibrinogen. Okay, that is called serum. Okay, students, this is about the clotting of the blood and the mechanism of the blood clotting. Explanation with 3 steps. In the step 1, prothrombin activator is forms, and in the step 2, prothrombin converts into thrombin, and in the step 3, fibrinogen is converts into fibrin fibers. Okay, with the help of the thrombin and the fibrin stabilizing factor. Okay, students, now discuss about the blood clotting factors. What about the blood clotting factors? Blood clotting factors helps in clotting of the blood. helps in mechanism of clotting of the blood. Well, students, these are the number of the factors and names or synonyms of the blood clotting factors. Well, students, factor 1 is called fibrinogen, factor 2 prothrombin, and third one is thromboplastin. Next, fourth one is calcium ions, and another one, fifth one is proaxillary. Next, seventh one proconvertin, and eighth one anti-hemophilic factor A. Students, next ninth one Christmas factor, plasmothromboplastine component is also called. Next, 10th one Stewart-Kroger factor. Next, 11th one plasmothromboplastine antecedent. Next, 12th one Ageman factor, and 13th one is the fibrin stabilizing factor. These are different types of the blood clotting factors. Next, in this fibrinogen, already you know about the fibrinogens. Fibrinogen is the blood clotting factor. Fibrinogen converts into fibrin fibers in the third step of the mechanism of clotting of blood. And another one, prothrombin activator is formed in first step mechanism of the clotting of blood. And thromboplastin tissue is also formed in the process of the prothrombin activator. Next, calcium ions. Calcium ions, with the help of the calcium ions, prothrombin is converted into thrombin. Okay, students, it is the these are the calcium ions present in the blood is also act as a one of the blood clotting factor. Another one, you know about Ageman factor. Ageman factor, this is the 12th blood clotting factor. Also helps in coagulation of the blood. Next, fibrin stabilizing factor. This is the 13 blood clotting factors. These are produced by platelets. Okay, students, this fibrin stabilizing factor helps in formation of the strong fibrin fibers, which are adhere to the edges of the injured blood vessel, breakage blood vessel. Okay, this is an account on the blood clotting factor. Sixth blood clotting factor is no longer. This is maybe obsolete. And anticoagulants. What about the anticoagulants? Anticoagulants which helps in the prevention of the clotting of blood. First one is heparin, second one is coumarins, and the third one is includes with two types of the or three types of the chemicals. First one is heparin. Heparin is an act as anticoagulant. This is secretes by mast cells and the basophils. Mast cells are present in the liver. These are the mast cells of the liver secretes heparin. Okay, heparin is chemically it is the heteropolysaccharide. Students, chemically it is the heteropolysaccharides. And basophils, these are the basophils also secretes heparin. Basophils are one type of the white blood cells, includes in granulocytes. Also basophils also present in connective tissue of the body of animal. These both type of the cells secretes heparin. And what is the action of the heparin? This is inactivates the thrombin. Okay, prothrombin converts into thrombin. Okay, this is the thrombin is inactivated by the action of the heparin. Thus way, this is act as a anticoagulant. Next, coumarins. Coumarins are the plant derivatives. Students, listen carefully. Coumarins are the plant derivatives. One of the coumarin is the warfarin. Okay. This is the warfarin shows the action against to the vitamin K, opposite to the vitamin K, antagonist to the vitamin K. Okay, vitamin K helps in the synthesis of the blood clotting factor, 2nd, 7th, 9th, 10th blood clotting factor. These are synthesized by the liver with the help of the vitamin K. And this is the secretion and the formation is prevented, okay, by the warfarin, which shows the against the action to the vitamin K. Okay, students. Next, another one, third one is sodium citrate, sodium oxalate, ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. These are the chemicals. Okay, in the clinical laboratories and the blood banks, coagulation, clotting of the blood is prevented by adding of the chemicals such as sodium citrate, sodium oxalates, EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. When these are the chemicals added to the blood, these are the chemicals bind the calcium ions. Entire calcium ions are totally bind with these chemicals. Now the blood is with the unavailability of the calcium ions to clot the blood, to formation of the clot of blood. Students, this is about the account on the anticoagulants. Now about the types of circulatory system. What about types of circulatory system in the animals? Animals shows two types of the circulatory system. One is open type circulatory system, another one is closed type circulatory system. In open type circulatory system, blood is directly contact with the tissue cells. In this, body fluids or the blood closely contact with the body cells to supply the oxygen, nutrients to the cells. Different types of the material, water molecules, substances, ions, electrolytes, like that. Okay, and in these animals, blood may flow in the blood vessels and may not flow in the blood vessels. If blood may not flow in the blood vessels, blood is freely flows in the body cavities, sinuses, open places in the body. This is the system is called open type circulatory system. Open type circulatory system is present in arthropods, mostly insects, crustaceans, millipedes, centipedes, like that. Most molluscans and leech, it is belongs from the phylum Annelida, and echinoderms. Okay, students. Next, ascidians. Ascidian belong from the protochordates. Okay, it is the one of the animal from the group of the Urochordata, first chordates. Next, closed type circulatory system. This is the closed type circulatory system is present in another animals, mostly developed animals. Blood flows in the blood vessels. Blood is freely flows in the lumen of the blood vessels, which are act as blood vessels that supplies the blood to the body cells, tissue cells, organs. These are the blood vessels or arteries which divides into arterioles. Arterioles are the blood capillaries present at the region of the tissue cells, and blood is carries from the region of the tissue cells via the venules. Venules are also blood capillaries, and these are the venules opens into the blood vessel, that is called vein. In this way, these are the veins. Finally, blood transfer towards the heart. Okay, carries towards the heart. In this way, blood is only flows through the blood vessels to supply the different types of the material substances to the body cells, to the organ, to the tissue cells. Blood vessels are arteries, arterioles, and venules. Arterioles, venules are blood capillaries at the tissue region, and into the veins. Veins supplies the blood towards the heart finally. Okay, this type of the system is called closed type circulatory system. Closed type circulatory system is present in annelids. Pheretima, it is the scientific name of the earthworm. includes in the phylum Annelida. Cephalopods. Cephalopods are belonging from, these are the animals, belongs from the phylum Mollusca. Cephalochordates, these are also protochordates. For example, Amphioxus, lancelets. Amphioxus is the scientific name. Another name is lancelet. Belongs from the cephalochordata. Okay, first chordates, these are also like a ascidians, which shows the open duct circulatory system. And vertebrates, animals from the fishes to the mammals. Eye developed chordates, these are okay, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals. These are vertebrates, which shows the vertebral column or the backbone in mid-dorsal position of the animal. These are the vertebrates, shows the closed type circulatory system. Okay, students. This is an account on the blood clotting factors, anticoagulants, and types of circulatory system. Okay, students. Now going to discuss about the circulation in vertebrates. Which are vertebrates? Vertebrates are fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals. These are the vertebrates. These are the animals which are having the backbone, vertebral column in mid-dorsal position. Hence these are vertebrates. Now what about the circulatory patterns available in the vertebrates? This one is explains with three types of the circulation: single circulation, incomplete double circulation, and the complete double circulation. In this first one is single circulation. Single circulation is present in fishes, which having two chambered heart. In these two chambers, upper chamber is called auricle, lower chamber is called ventricles. Okay, students, in this auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the body parts through sinus venuses, and auricle pumps the blood into the ventricle, and from the ventricle the blood is passes into conus arteriosus. Okay, from the conus arteriosus, blood is finally reaches into the gills. In this way, ventricle supplies the blood to the gills for oxygenation. Okay, from after the oxygen of the blood in the gills, blood is goes to the body parts. The blood is supplies from the heart to the gills. Hence it is called, this is the heart called bronchial heart. Next, the blood is flows only once through the heart. So it is called single circulation. Next, another incomplete double circulation. Incomplete double circulation. Incomplete double circulation is present in amphibians and the reptiles, except the crocodiles. These are the animals having three-chambered heart. Okay, in these three-chambered heart, upper two chambers are right atrium and left atrium, and another one lower chamber is called single ventricle. This left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the gills, lungs, skin, which are act as respiratory organs. Next, right atrium receives deoxygenated blood through vena cava from the body parts. Okay, and these oxygenated, deoxygenated blood present in right atrium and the left atrium pumps into the single ventricle. In the single ventricle, blood is mixed up. After the mixing of the blood is goes into the body parts. Mixed type of the blood carries into the body parts of organism through the conus arteriosus, which is divides into left systemic, right systemic, and the pulmonary arch. Okay. This is called incomplete double circulation. Why it is called incomplete double circulation? Okay, in the arteries or atrium, oxygenated deoxygenated blood flows separately in two upper chambers, right atrium and the left atrium. But in the single ventricle, these are the two types of the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood mixed up. Mixed type of the blood supplies to the body parts. So it is called incomplete double circulation. Next, complete double circulation. Complete double circulation is present in crocodiles, belongs from the reptiles, all birds and the mammals, which shows the four-chambered heart in the body. Okay, in this, heart is divided into four chambers, upper two chambers right atrium and the left atrium, and a single lower, not a single, lower two ventricles called right ventricle and the left ventricle. In this, left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps into the left ventricle. Left ventricle pumps the blood into the body parts. Okay, in this, right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body parts. And right atrium, after receiving of the deoxygenated blood, it is pumps into the right ventricle. Right ventricle passes the deoxygenated blood into the lungs. Okay, there is no mixing of the oxygenated deoxygenated blood. Flowing is separate. The blood flowing, oxygenated deoxygenated blood flows separately through the heart chambers. Okay, this is the deoxygenated blood flows through these two chambers, and this is the oxygenated blood flows separately through the left atrium and the left ventricle, never mixing up. This type of the circulation is available in birds, mammals along with the crocodiles, called complete double circulation. Okay, ventricles pumps the blood without mixing of the blood. This complete double circulation is with the systemic circulation and the pulmonary circulation. Systemic circulation and the pulmonary circulation. Okay students, this is about the different pattern of the circulatory fluids circulation in vertebrates. Okay, fishes have two-chambered heart, amphibians, reptiles have three-chambered heart, crocodiles, birds, mammals have four-chambered heart. Okay, and single circulation, for example, fishes shows by fishes, incomplete double circulation shows by amphibians, reptiles, and complete double circulation shows by crocodiles, birds, and the mammals. Okay. In these amphibians, reptiles, ventricle is not completely divided. So it gives a chance to the mixing of the oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. The type of the blood goes to the body parts via conus arteriosus. Okay students, this is an account about the circulation in vertebrates. Different types of the heart, different patterns of circulation. Okay students, I am going to discuss about the structure of heart. Okay, in the circulatory system of the human beings, heart is the main part. Okay, heart is the main organ in the body, in the circulatory system of human beings. Now, this is the heart, is the mesoderm in origin. At the time of the embryonic stage, mesoderm, it is produced from the mesoderm layer. Okay students, and this is the heart is located at the mediastinum of the body. Mediastinum means this is the location, the space between the two lungs at thoracic region, that is called mediastinum. It is located in the mediastinum. Okay. Next, the heart size is a clenched fist. Next, another one. This is the heart is entirely outer surface is covered with the pericardium. Pericardium. What about the pericardium? Pericardium is the double-walled membrane. This is the double-walled structure that consists of outer fibrous pericardium and the inner serous pericardium. Okay. Next, inner serous pericardium again made up with the two layers. Okay. In this, outer one is a parietal layer and the inner one is visceral layer. Outer parietal layer, inner one is the visceral layer. Outer parietal layer is closely contact with the outer fibrous pericardium, and the inner visceral layer covers the outer surface of the heart. And the space, this one is the two-layered membrane. Consist space, the space between these two layers, that is called pericardial space. The space between the outer parietal layer and the inner visceral layer, that is called pericardial space. Pericardial space totally filled with the pericardial fluid. Okay. Now, what about the wall of the heart? The heart wall consists of three layers: outer epicardium, middle myocardium made up with the cardiac muscles, and inner endocardium that consists of thin layer of the endothelial cells. Okay, students, and the endocardium, which is made up with the endothelium also connect with the heart walls and also continues with the largest blood vessels, that is comes from the region of the heart. Next, what about the external structure of the heart? External structure of the heart that consists upper two atrial chambers. This is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, and this is the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle. Externally, these are also divided by the help of the atrioventricular groove. Okay, that is called coronary sulcus. That is also called coronary sulcus. And each one of the atrium that also shows muscular pouch like structure at the anterior part, that is called auricular appendix. Next, and now goes to the internal structure of the heart. Internal structure, heart internally, the heart is divided into four chambers. Upper smaller two chambers called left atrium and the right atrium, and lower largest chambers, thick chambers called left ventricle and the right ventricle. Okay, students, and left atrium internally, left atrium and the right atrium divides with interatrial septum. Both are divided by interatrial septum. This is the septum, shows the one of the aperture, one of the pore at the embryonic stage, that is called foramen oval. Okay, students, and this is the foramen oval is completely closes at the time of the birth when the lungs become into functional. That is called fossa fossa ovalis. And at the time of the birth, this is not completely closes. Okay, that is called patent foramen oval. At that time, that is called as patent foramen oval. And another one, both of the atriums receives blood from the different parts of the body. First one, if you observe about the right atrium receives the blood from the different parts of the body through precaval vein and the postcaval vein. Okay, students, this is the postcaval vein. Postcaval vein also called inferior vena cava. Postcaval vein receives blood from the hind limbs and the abdomen region and posterior part of the body, and pumps into the right atrium. And another one, precaval vein is also called superior vena cava. Superior vena cava receives blood from the head, neck, and the thoracic part and the forelimbs, and finally pumps into the right atrial chamber. Okay, next another one, this is the right atrium also receives the blood from the heart region by the help of the coronary sinus receives blood from the heart muscles and pumps into the right atrium with the help of the valve, where the coronary sinus open into the right atrium. At the opening there is a valve, that is called valve of the Basesius. Okay, students, next another one, this is the postcaval vein open into right atrium. At the opening there is also a valve, that is the valve is called Eustachian valve. And at the opening of the precaval vein into the right atrium there is no valve is absent at the opening region. Another, what about left atrium receives the blood from the lungs. This is the oxygenated blood. Left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs by the help of the left pulmonary veins and the right pulmonary veins. Okay, students, this is an account on the two atrial chambers and the ventricles. This is the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle. Both of the ventricles internally divides by the help of the interventricular septum. Okay, students, next under internally atrium divides with the ventricle by the help of the atrioventricular septum. Okay, this is a region consists right atrioventricular septum. This is the region for left atrioventricular septum. Okay, students, both of the atrioventricular septums have two different types of the valves. These are the valves are tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve. Okay, students, at that time in this right atrium open into the right ventricle with the help of the septum, with the help of the aperture, that is called right atrioventricular aperture. Right atrioventricular aperture consists of tricuspid valve. Students, and left atrioventricular aperture open into the left ventricle. left atrium open into the left ventricle by the help of the left atrioventricular aperture. This is the pore or aperture also with the valve that is called bicuspid valve. These are the two valves, location of the bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve. Bicuspid valve also called mitral valve. Okay, students. Next, another one. In these two chambers, left ventricle is the largest chamber. Left ventricle is the largest chamber. This is the ventricles, inner surface of the ventricles having muscular ridges. These are the muscular ridges are called columnae corneae. These are muscular ridges called columnae corneae. In these muscular ridges, some are larger, which are called papillary muscles. These are papillary muscles. Okay, students. Papillary muscles having apical structure, apices. Apices of the papillary muscles connected to the collagenous process, which are called chorda tendinae. Apices of the papillary muscles connected to the collagenous process, which are called chorda tendinae. Chorda tendinae. These are chorda tendinae connects the papillary muscles to the heart walls. Okay, students, this is an account on the ventricles, about the ventricles. Next, under these are the ventricles. Okay, next about the nodal tissues. Nodal tissues. Two types of the nodal tissues are there. These are cardiac musculature, formed by cardiac musculature, act as a nodal tissues, okay, which transmits the impulse and generates the action potential, which helps to contraction of the muscles of heart. Questions. In this, first one is sinoatrial node. This is the sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node, SAN means sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node locates at the right upper corner of the right atrium and locates near the opening of the superior vena cava into the right atrium. Questions. This is about the SA node. And another one of the node is also present. That one is called atrioventricular node. Atrioventricular node is located at the left lower corner of the right atrium, near the opening of the coronary sinus into the right atrium. Okay, students, in these two, SC node, sinoatrial node, act as a pacemaker to generate the action potential, helps to contract the entire musculature of the heart, muscles of heart. Okay, students, next another one is the AV bundle. AV bundle is also called atrioventricular bundle. One of the bundle comes from the AV node into the interventricular septum. That one is passes throughout the interventricular septum. That is called AV bundle. This is the AV bundle, atrioventricular bundle. Okay, passes through the interventricular septum and finally divides into right and the left branches. Okay, students, these are the right and the left branches. Again divides into the minute branches, smaller branches. These are called Purkinje fibers. Purkinje fibers extend throughout the entire musculature of the heart. Okay, students, and these are Purkinje fibers, AV bundle helps in contraction of the heart. Next, another account on the aortic arches. Aortic arches. What about the aortic arches? Aortic arches are 2 in number. Okay, students, aortic arches are largest blood vessels which the heart is pumps into these blood vessels. Okay, in this the first one is pulmonary arch. Pulmonary arch. What about the pulmonary arch? This is the pulmonary arch. Okay, right ventricle. This is the right ventricle and left anterior angle of the right ventricle open into the largest blood vessel, which is called pulmonary arch. Pulmonary arch receives the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle. Right ventricle pumps the blood into the pulmonary arch. Okay, and at the opening, right ventricle open into the pulmonary arch. At the opening there is a valve that is called pulmonary valve. Okay, students, next another one is systemic arch. What about the systemic arch? Systemic arch. This is the left ventricle. Left ventricle pumps the blood into the systemic arch. Into the systemic arch. Left ventricle is the largest chamber in the heart and pumps the oxygenated blood into the systemic arch. This is the systemic arch. At the opening, left ventricle open into the systemic arch. At the opening, there is a valve. That is the valve called aortic valve. That is the valve called aortic valve. These are the aortic valves and the pulmonary valves made up with the 3 semilunar flaps. Okay, students. Next, this is about the aortic arches. Arches means main blood vessels. Okay, which the blood is received from the chambers of heart. Next, ligamentum arteriosum. What about the ligamentum arteriosum? Ligamentum arteriosum means this is the fibrous strands which connects the pulmonary arch with the systemic arch. At the point of the region, the contact between the systemic arch and the pulmonary arch is called ligamentum arteriosum. Ligamentum arteriosum. It is the fibrous strand that connects the systemic arch to the pulmonary arch. Okay, and it is the modification. It is the modification of the ductus arteriosus, which is present at the embryonic stage. Okay, it is total about the structure of the heart. Okay, students. Now going to discuss about working of heart of man. Okay, already you know about the structure of the heart. Okay, and it is with the explanation of the cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle means it is the duration of the time period between the beginning of the one heartbeat to the beginning of the next heartbeat. That is called cardiac cycle. Okay, students, in the cardiac cycle, it is with 3 phases. First one is atrial systole, second one is ventricular systole, third one is cardiac diastole. This first one, atrial systole. Atrial systole, its time takes about 0.1 second. In this atrial systole, first one, both of the atria goes to the contraction. Okay, sinoatrial node that shows by the atrium, right atrium. Sinoatrial node act as a pacemaker of our heart and which generates the action potential, okay, produces the action potential. It is the nodal tissue, and both of the atrial chambers goes to the contraction, okay, and now by the contraction of the atrial chambers, the respective atrioventricular walls, AV walls are open. The blood present in the atrial chambers enters into the ventricles. By the atrial systole, 30% of the blood is filled up by the ventricles. Okay, remaining the blood present in each of the ventricle enters before the atrial systole. Okay, this is about the atrial systole. And under ventricular systole. Ventricular systole times takes about 0.3 second. What about the ventricular systole? Ventricular systole, that means SCA node generates the action potential, that is reaches to the AV node. AV node, from the AV node, one of the bundle expands throughout the interventricular septum, that is called bundle of His. Bundle of His divides into left and right branches, and which is finally expands throughout by the small branches which are called Purkinje fibers. Okay, SCA node generates the action potential, that is received by the AV node. That one is the action potential which causes the contraction of the muscles of the heart, expand for the Purkinje fibers, and finally it causes the contraction of the muscle part of the ventricle. Okay, by the ventricular systole, it causes increase in intraventricular pressure is increases, it causes the closure of the AV walls are closes. This is causing the produce of the first heart sound, which is called lub, and it also leads to opening of the semilunar walls. By the opening of the semilunar walls, the blood present in the ventricle entered into the arches, pulmonary arches and systemic arches. Next, another this time takes about ventricular systole takes about 0.3 seconds. Next, another cardiac diastole. Cardiac diastole times takes about 0.4 second. Okay, what is occurs in cardiac diastole? An intraventricular pressure is falls down. By decreasing the intraventricular pressure, it causes the closure of the semilunar walls. By the closing of the semilunar walls, it produces second heart sound, that is dub. Okay, students, and at the same time AV walls are open. The blood is received by the atria by the help of the largest veins and entered into the ventricles. Now all of the chambers of heart goes to the relaxation diastolic position, that is called cardiac diastole, takes about 0.4 second. In this way, entire the cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 seconds. Next, cardiac output. Cardiac output is equal to stroke volume into number of heartbeats per minute. Stroke volume, what is the meaning of the stroke volume? Stroke volume means the volume of the blood pumped out by single ventricle, each ventricle, okay, per each heartbeat, that is called stroke volume. It is equal to 70 ml. And number of heartbeats per minute, that is equal to 72 beats per minute. Cardiac output is equal to 70 ml per beats into 72 beats per minute. Okay, that is equal to 5040 ml per minute. It is approximately 5 liters. Cardiac output is equal to 5 liters per minute. Cardiac output means the volume of the blood pumped out by single ventricle per minute. Okay students, next double circulation. Double circulation is divided into pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation. Double circulation appeared in human beings. Okay, systemic circulation, pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation, it is also called lesser circulation. What is the meaning of the lesser circulation? Deoxygenated blood is received by the pulmonary arch from the right ventricle and pumps into the lungs for the oxygenation. After the oxygenation, blood is received by pulmonary veins, which is opens into the left atrium. Okay, and another systemic circulation. What about the systemic circulation? Systemic circulation means oxygenated blood present in the left ventricle and pumps into aorta, aortic arches. Okay, systemic arch, that means, and which is divides into many blood vessels in the body called arteries. Arteries are divides into arterioles. Arterioles divides into many blood capillaries at the tissue cells. Okay, for easy passage of the oxygen and the nutrients into the extracellular fluid. After the exchange, these are the blood capillaries are opens into venules. Venules opens into veins. Veins carries the blood into the caval veins, post-caval vein and pre-caval vein, which are also called superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. These are the largest veins which is opens into right atrium. Okay, this is called systemic circulation, is also called greater circulation. Systemic circulation is also called greater circulation, and pulmonary circulation is also called lesser circulation. Lesser circulation. Okay students, it is total about the working of heart of man. Cardiac cycle is completed in each cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 seconds. It is followed with atrial systole, ventricular systole, cardiac diastole. Okay students, now going to discuss about portal system. What is the meaning of the portal system? Portal system, that means this is the system is carried out by one of the blood vessel which is called portal vein. Portal vein. This is connects the one organ with the help of the blood capillaries and also connect with another organ with the help of the blood capillaries. This is the portal vein is the connecting link between two organs with the help of the blood capillaries. Supplies the blood from the one organ to the another organ. That is called portal system. Different types of the portal system present in the animals. In this first one is hepatic portal system. Hepatic portal system is one of the portal system carried out by the portal vein, that is the connecting link between the alimentary canal and the liver. Liver is the one of the organ in this system. It receives the blood from the parts of the digestive system. Hence it is called hepatic portal system. Hepatic portal system, which consists of hepatic portal vein, receives the blood from the parts of the digestive system such as small intestine, large intestine, and the pancreas, gallbladder, spleen. Receives the blood from these parts of the alimentary canal or the digestive system and carries into the liver. Okay, the blood is receives by the liver. Okay, and for example, excess amount of the nutrients present in the blood that receives by the liver that goes to the metabolism activities. Okay, after then the type of the blood is pumps into the heart, and heart pumps the blood into the different body parts by the help of the systemic circulation. Okay, students, and for example, the liver receives excess amount of the sugar molecules. Sugar molecules in the glucose form, excess amount of the glucose receives by the liver. That is, the glucose molecules are converted into the glycogen. Okay, this is the glycogen is stored in the liver cells. This entire process, conversion of the glucose into the glycogen, is called glycogenesis. This is the one type of the carbohydrate metabolism which occurs in the liver cells. Okay, this is about hepatic portal system present in all chordates, all developed animals. Next, another renal portal system. Renal portal system is present in fishes and amphibians, and it is reduced in reptiles and the birds. It is completely absent in the mammals, includes human beings. And renal portal system consists of portal vein. One of the organ in this type of the system is kidneys. So it is called renal portal system. In the renal portal system, portal vein, which is called renal portal vein. Renal portal vein receives the blood from the posterior part of the body and supplies to the kidneys. In the kidneys, after removal of the wastage products, and the type of the blood is pumps into the heart by the help of the renal veins. Okay, students, or post-caval veins. This is about the renal portal system. And coronary circulation is also present in human beings. Coronary circulation consists of 2 coronary arteries and 4 coronary veins. 2 coronary arteries, one is the left coronary artery, another one is the right coronary artery, which supplies the oxygenated blood to the muscles of heart. And from the muscles of the heart, the blood is carries by 4 coronary veins into the coronary sinus. Coronary veins supplies the blood into the coronary sinus. This is the deoxygenated blood receives from the heart. Okay, walls of the heart, muscles part of the heart, and into the coronary sinus. Coronary sinus finally open into the right atrium. Okay, in this way, this coronary circulation helps in circulation of the blood to the heart, and also helps in receiving of the blood from the region of heart musculature. Okay, and another, this is also includes with regulation of cardiac activity. Normal activity of the heart is regulated by 2 nodal tissues. One is sinoatrial node, which is act as pacemaker of our heart. Another one is AV node, atrioventricular node. These are located in the right atrium, region of the right atrium. These are cardiac musculature, act as nodal tissues, generates the action potential and helps and transmits the action potential to contract the muscular muscles of the heart. And another heart is regulated by special center present in the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the part of the hindbrain. Medulla oblongata consists one of the region, that is the region or the center controls the heart function by the help of the autonomous nervous system. Okay, autonomous nervous system consists of two types of the nerves. One is the sympathetic nerve, another one is the parasympathetic nerves. Neural signals came from the sympathetic nerves. This increases the heartbeat and increases the ventricles contraction and ventricles. These are the heart chambers and thereby causes the cardiac output. Okay, students. Next, neural signals came from the parasympathetic nerves. Parasympathetic nerves decreases the heartbeat. Against to the sympathetic nerves. And adrenal gland. What is the role of the adrenal gland? Adrenal gland divided into two parts. One is the cortex and the medulla. Medulla part of the adrenal gland secretes two types of the hormones into the blood. These are adrenaline, noradrenaline. Is also called epinephrine, norepinephrine. These two types of the hormones, when the levels is increases in the blood, and this causes the increasing the heart rate, increases the pulse rate, and increases the blood pressure. Okay, students. And another one of the hormones secreted by thyroid gland is called thyroxine. Thyroxine is the hormone, also increases the heart rate, increases the heartbeat and blood pressure. Okay, students. This is an account on the portal system and the regulation of cardiac activity. Okay, students. Now we discuss about the blood vessels. Okay. What about the blood vessels? Blood vessels carries the oxygen towards the tissues, cells, and same these are the blood vessels carries the blood towards the heart. These are the blood vessels appeared as a network-like structure. These are tubular structures. Blood vessels are the tubular structures and forms the network in the body of human beings. Now, these are the blood vessels available in different form. In these arteries carries the blood from the heart and divides into the organs region. These are divides into arterioles. These are the arterioles having lesser diameter than the arteries, and arterioles are divided into bloody capillaries at the region of the tissue cells in the body, and bloody capillaries forms the venules. Okay, and venules finally open into veins. Okay, students, these are the veins. Carries the blood towards the heart. Okay, and all the blood vessels supplies the blood through the lumen. Okay, through the lumen or the cavity present in the inner side. And if you observe, arteries and veins have three layers. In the wall. Okay, if you observe the wall of the arteries and the veins having three layers. Okay, in this tunica externa, outer layer, tunica media, middle layer, and tunica interna, inner layer. Tunica means this is the membraned layer. That means tunica means membraned layer. Okay students, this is the diagram that shows the different layers of the blood vessels, arteries and the vein. And this is the outer layer which is formed with fibrous connective tissue, and this is the inner, this is the middle layer, and it is formed by smooth muscles. This is the middle layer formed by smooth muscles, and this is the inner layer which is called tunica interna. It is formed by endothelium, single layer of the endothelial cells. It is also called simple squamous epithelium. Okay students, and this is about the wall, different layers of the two types of blood vessels called artery and the vein. Now what about the differences between the arteries and the veins? These are about the details about the arteries. These are about the details of the veins. Okay, arteries carries oxygenated blood. Arteries carry oxygenated blood towards the tissue region, and veins carries the deoxygenated blood. Veins carries the deoxygenated blood from the tissue region towards the heart. Arteries situated below the surface. Arteries are present at the deeper part of the body, deep seated. These are situated below the surface of the body. And veins superficial. These are present at the surface of the body. And arteries bright red in color because of much amount of the oxygen present in the blood that flows through the lumen of the arteries, because these are appeared as bright red in color. And veins carries the deoxygenated blood towards the heart. So low amount of the oxygen present in the blood that flows through the lumen of the veins, these are appeared as dark red in color. And arteries having thick wall, two elastic laminae is present to either sides of the smooth muscle layer or tunica media. This is the muscle layer. If you observe the arteries, this is the arteries having two elastic laminae, either sides of the tunica media having elastic laminae, because it is having thick wall. And veins, if you observe the veins having thin wall, because only one elastic laminae present at the inner surface of the tunica media. This is the tunica media, inner surface only having the elastic laminae. Okay students, and another lumen is narrow. Lumen means the cavity present in the inner part of the blood vessel called lumen, which flows the blood through it. That is called lumen. Lumen is narrow in the arteries and lumen is wide in the veins. Next, another without walls. Walls are absent in the inner surface of the arteries. Does not shows the walls. Okay. Next, walls are present. These are the walls are formed by double folding of the endothelium, double folding of the tunica interna. Okay, and prevent the backflow. Because of presentation of the walls, the blood always flows towards the heart in the veins. Next, blood flow with the pressure. In the arteries, blood is flows with high pressure. It is normally equal to the 120 by 80 mm Hg. Okay, students, and blood flow with less pressure, low amount of the pressure in the veins, and another one ends with capillaries. Arteries are by the formation of the arterioles. These are ends in the form of the bloody capillaries, and another these are the veins. These are the veins are started with the bloody capillaries. Bloody capillaries opens into the venules. Venules open into the veins. These are starts with the bloody capillaries. Okay, students. Now, what about the bloody capillaries? Bloody capillaries are the smaller blood vessels present at the region of the tissue cells. These are the blood vessels, bloody capillaries, which flows the blood in its lumen, and amount of these substances like nutrients, ions, electrolytes, and the proteins, fatty acids, glycerol, like that. These are all passage into the extracellular fluid. Okay, and after the exchange of the some amount of the materials into the blood capillaries, after the exchange of the some amount of the substances by the ECF, these are the blood capillaries are open into and pumps the blood into the venules. Okay, after the exchange of the gases, oxygen and the carbon dioxide, exchange of the nutrients, substances, blood capillaries are opens into the venules, venules open into the veins. These are blood capillaries having only single layer, that is called a simple squamous epithelium, also called endothelium. Okay, because of presentation of the single layer endothelium, it one is having ability to passage of the exchange of the different substances from the ECF, extracellular fluid. Okay, students, this is an account on the blood vessels. Okay, students, now going to discuss about disorders of circulatory system. Disorders of circulatory system. There are 4 types of the disorders. This first one is hypertension. Hypertension. Okay. What is the meaning of the blood pressure? Blood pressure. Hypertension means high blood pressure by the blood vessels. Okay. What is the meaning of the blood pressure? Blood pressure, that means pressure exerted by the blood on against the wall of the arteries is called blood pressure. Okay, and it is normally equal to 120 by 80 mmHg. Okay, upper one indicates systolic pressure and lower one 80 mmHg indicates diastolic pressure. Okay, hypertension means high blood pressure that is equal to 140 by 90 mmHg. 140 by 90 mmHg. 140 by 90 mmHg. In this, 140 is systolic pressure, systolic blood pressure. Okay, systolic blood pressure means the blood pressure, the pressure of the blood exerted at the time of the heart chambers goes to the contraction. Heart pumps the blood into the arteries. At that time the blood pressure is called systolic pressure, that is equal to 140 mmHg. 90 mmHg is the diastolic pressure. It is the blood pressure when the heart is goes to the diastolic condition, rest condition. Okay, that is called diastolic pressure. Hypertension means high BP, that is equal to 140 by 90 mmHg. Blood pressure is identified with a sphygmomanometer and it has no symptoms. Any type of the symptoms are not appeared in this disorder. And causes, what are the causes? Nervous tension. Nervous tension is the one of the cause. And emotional stress, anxiety. Okay, emotional stress is also one of the cause. And it leads to the heart failure. Okay, prolonged hypertension causes the heart failure and heart stroke, and another one is the kidney failure. Okay, and next one is coronary artery disease. Coronary artery disease. What about coronary artery disease? Already you know coronary arteries. Coronary arteries that supplies the blood. That supplies the blood to the muscles of heart. Heart supplies the blood to the heart muscles of the heart by the coronary arteries. By the coronary arteries. Okay, students. Next, in this example, for example, this is the coronary artery. Coronary artery. In this coronary artery, this is the lumen. This is the lumen. This is called lumen. Okay, students. And in this lumen, the blood is flows. The blood is flows. In this region, any one of the region, the accumulation starts. Accumulation, deposition starts. Okay, by the calcium and the fats, cholesterol, fibrous tissue. These are the substances is accumulated in this region. Okay, and sufficient amount of the blood is not supplied to the outside. Okay, not receive oxygenated blood, nutrient rich blood is not goes to the outside. Okay, and oxygenated blood and nutrient rich blood is low. Okay, and adequate amount of the oxygenated and nutrient rich blood is not supplied to the heart muscles. Okay, myocardial cells. Okay, this is the condition goes to the ischemia. Ischemia means reduces the oxygen. Okay, reduces the oxygen levels or to the body cells. Okay, sufficient amount of the oxygen is not supplied to the body cells by blood is called ischemia. Okay, and it also leads to the chance of the myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction means localized death of the cardiac muscle cells, heart muscle cells. Muscle cells of the heart goes to the death, that is called myocardial infarction or heart attack. Okay, students. So, coronary artery disease leads to the ischemia and also causes the myocardial infarction or heart attack. And other factors that causes the coronary artery disease are smoking, diabetes, high BP, and lack of the exercise and the stress. These are another some amount of the factors which cause coronary artery disease. And angina pectoris. Angina pectoris. What is the meaning of the angina pectoris? Angina pectoris, that means pain in chest region, and it is most common in elder people, adult people above the age of the 45 years. Okay, and it is symptomized with narrowing the blood vessel. Lumen of the blood vessel that is becomes into narrow. Okay, and reduces blood supplies to the heart. reduces blood supplies to the heart. Okay, heart cannot receive sufficient amount of the blood because of narrowing the blood vessel. Okay, such as arteries. And causes for angina pectoris is smoking and diabetes and the high cholesterol present in the blood and high blood pressure, hypertension. These are the causes. And another fourth one is fourth one is heart failure. Fourth one is heart failure. What is about the heart failure? This is the heart failure also called congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure. Why it is called congestive heart failure? Because of congestion. Congestion occurs in the lungs region. Congestion present in the lungs. Okay. Next, another. In this type of the disorder, sufficient amount of the blood is not supplied to the body parts, not received by the body parts. Okay, and it is the one of the symptom. And causes are coronary artery disease, and high blood pressure, and another one is the diabetes. Okay, these are the causes for heart failure. If you observe, coronary artery disease leads to ischemia, myocardial infarction or a heart attack. Necrosis occurs in the myocardial infarction. Necrosis means localized death of the cells in the body is called necrosis. Okay. Ischemia, myocardial infarction, heart attack, these are appeared in coronary artery disease. Okay, and another ischemia is present in angina pectoris. It is not goes to the stage of the myocardial infarction. And another heart failure in this coronary artery disease also one of the cause for the heart failure. Okay students, this is an account on the disorders of circulatory system.